thank you so much, Fuad, for joining our first podcast. And we are starting the series with the name of Manufacturing Today and Tomorrow. And here we will talk about, in the first episode, we will talk about how manufacturing is evolving. Why we have to talk about, because the world is changing, everything is changing, and everyone's talking about AI. We're talking about agentic AIs, right? But we will not talk about how AI is changing the world or how robotics will take over the humans, right? But we will talk about practical applications, because it's important for everyone to understand that how they have to be ready in manufacturing to have these kind of changes in the world, right? And I think you are the right person for this, because you have
Thank you.
worked in Toyota, you have worked in Obican for last 13 years, you worked in Toyota for 7 years. I think you are the right person to have this kind of conversation, because you know about lean, you know about the companies, you know about the digital transformation, and obviously you're working on AI as well as a product director as well. So I think you are the right person for this to start this conversation in the first episode. So thank you so much for joining, and I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you, Nasser. Thank you for inviting me to this discussion. I find it really interesting. The subject is very interesting. And I'm honored to be the first guest to your series of podcasts that you are aiming really to perform in the coming weeks. Basically, my background is mechanical engineering. I studied mechanical engineering, graduated from Polytechnic School in Algeria. After that, I joined the biggest distributor of Toyota in the world. So we were more in service and distribution. But what was interesting about this experience is the culture and the philosophy. So we had an intensive training of Toyota Way and all the concepts that we hear about today, the Kaizen, the continuous improvement. Um, and it was something that really strengthened the foundation, the professional foundation, because after I was a member of business reform Kaizen, so we were doing a lot of continuous improvement activities, and then I had the opportunity here in Saudi Arabia from Obekan, and I joined in 2013, early 2013 as the lean manager. So you see that philosophy
Yeah.
really took me to this next step. When I joined, we started really implementing. So the transformation here started, fortunately, and I can claim that I was part of the transformation that happened in Obekan. Uh, we were doing scattered activities until we build a full program for Obekan Manufacturing Excellence. And I had a chance also to run different functions that it strengthened also my experience, my professional experience. So I ran maintenance, engineering maintenance, where we implemented TPM activities. I ran production operations, where we had to look at all aspects from cost to day-to-day operations. And then we had this need, after all this transformation and implementing the operational excellence program, we had the need to go to the next step, which is the digital transformation, or adopting technologies in order to run and accommodate the huge data and all the scattered sheet that we generated. Then I joined Obekan Digital in 2019. At that time, our business model was consulting as a preparation for the digital transformation. So I was running this part, and another experience was added to my career, which is really touching different industries. So I had access to different shop floors in different industries, doing assessments and gathering requirements. And this is how we started building our platform. So from all this learning embedded, and we try to convert all these processes into digital processes where we build our own platform. And the lean touch, we embedded it. So there is a lean way of really digitalizing these processes. And today I'm running the product management and strategy in Ubecon Digital.
That's a very vast experience. You started with lean in Toyota, you then became lean manager, then you became the plant manager, and then you became in the product side, and you embedded the lean part in the product. I think it's a very vast experience from different industries and
I think
different
so.
parts. And then you did the assessments as well, and you did the
Yes.
assessments of different factories, right? I think that's a very you're very fortunate for that, that you had such kind of journey for you in your life. I have one thing in my mind which I always had is lean sometimes I feel becomes rigid, right? It's a standardized process. I am not talking about the core principles. They are very good. They are very good in a sense that they improve things, right? But sometimes I feel that it's a very standard approach. Like you have to fill the
Burden.
checklist. Yeah,
A
burden.
burden for the
Yeah, you
organization.
have to fill the checklist. You have to do the audits. You have to do the 5 years audits, and sometimes it becomes a ritual that you just follow a ritual. If you are in a manufacturing plant and you are wasting 2 hours of your time to make a report for a DDS, right? So Lean talks about reducing the waste,
Mm.
but you are wasting two
Mm.
hours to make a report
Mm.
for a 10-minute
They're
DDS.
wasting time to reduce the waste.
Yeah, so you're wasting time. It's a premium grade waste, actually. I think it's a waste which is a premium grade waste of a manager who's working 2 hours just to make a report, right?
Yes.
For a 10-minute DTS, might be he will be asked questions, might be he won't be asked questions, right? So, what do you think about in that perspective? Because you talked about philosophy, right? It's a philosophy, it's not a process. I want to hear more about
I
that.
elaborate.
Yeah.
Okay. I really like this question, by the way. I always try to explain the lean as a philosophy. It's not a process. It's not something that is rigid or you need to do it in this way, not in another way, in some way, not in another way. Uh, Usually, many organizations fall into this mistake of relying on something rigid coming from a consultant who is saying, okay, you need to do things this way.
Yeah.
This is usually when you don't prepare the organization with intensive training because before implementing any change, you need to have a plan for managing the change. So, change management is extremely important in this case. So, you need to explain to people the purpose, why you need to do this, what you should achieve. This is one. It should not be only top down, should be top down, bottom up, which means that you need to throw it to the organization and let the organization lead this transformation rather than just imposing it. So this is very important in change management. This is why many many transformations fail. The journey stops in the middle. So if you let the organization lead, so you're just reversing the pyramid. The shop floor is leading. How the shop floor can lead? So when you throw the vision and you cascade it down and you measure it, you will find that you can adapt certain concepts. So you let the organization, for example, I'll give you a simple example. You should never cascade down an SOP, standard procedure, to an operator. The key.
I just had an example in my mind. I was reading one recipe, and it was written over there that you have to follow the recipe in the SOP.
Yeah. The secret here is when you let this operator uh, set the SOP or write the SOP, even his way, he will follow it. If you cascade it down, this is a human nature also. If you cascade down and you impose something, a human is always a rebel. So he will start. It's better to let him really do it his way. This is why I do believe that if you take lean or operational excellence as a culture, not as a process, you will just let the organization adapt itself to this transformation and adapt all these concepts. So lean is about eliminating waste, reducing variations. So the Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, these are the philosophies. So eliminate waste and reduce variations. Uh, you have certain ways of doing activities. You let the organization adapt itself and adopt and adapt these methodologies. And this is how you can have it as a philosophy, as a culture. So everybody knows that they need to do a continuous improvement. Everything is subject to continuous improvement. And by the way, from my school, from Toyota, they always teach us, they always taught us that uh, even the methodology itself is subject to continuous improvement. So this is the way, but if you bring a better way to do it, achieving the same result or better result, we will adopt it.
Yeah, I think that's a very important perspective because when you make a process or when you make a philosophy and you stick to that and you do not change that, I think that is where the things become different, right?
Yes.
Because if you have to adapt, because you have to adapt according to the scenarios, right? I just had an example in my mind. I was last year, I was watching a movie. It was called Hidden Figures, right? And it was about three women and they were mathematicians, right? And they used to work for NASA, and in NASA they were used to call human calculators, and they were part of the first mission in 1961, which was about the space mission, right? And what their job was to do the mathematical calculations, and they were like a human calculators. But what actually happened at that time is that in 1959, NASA actually purchased the new computer from IBM. Now, since there was
As big as this room.
as big as this room, right? And at that time, obviously, if you have to set up a computer, it will take around 2 years, right? So by 1961, the computer would have been ready, right? So they started the all the process over there. So these women learned that we are about to get disposable, right? Because obviously now NASA will not be needing a human calculator because all the calculations will be
Will
done
be done
by
by the
the computer.
computer.
So what they did is that it was amazing. They adapt and they learned the language, the programming language, which is used to call Fortran at that time. And that Fortran language, they start learning that and they adapted according to it. And then IBM actually hired them because they knew that these are the few people who knows about this
Know about
language,
this
and IBM hired them.
Yeah.
This is what the adaptability is, and that's what the adaptability you are talking about in the philosophy as well.
Yeah.
It's not just about human; it's about philosophy. It's about processes. You have to keep on adapting. If you are not adapting, you will be left behind always.
Exactly.
And I think that's a key principle you talked about in this adaptability change management, right? Really thankful that you talked about this. I just have one more thing in my mind that if you see everything in your surrounding, right? Banking is digital. You do the instant payments, instant loan approvals. If you talk about the retail, if you search something, you will see the Instagram being popped up with those searches what you have searched in the retail side. If you see the grocery store nearby, it's digital. If you see the restaurants, they have the apps. Even
All the B2C, all the
even
B2C is very
the
advanced.
pizza delivery has a tracking system. You will know where it is. In the formation side as well. Yeah, we talk about Industry 4.0, but I think we are still in Industry 2.5. We don't have OEE real time. We do on the boards right now. I have seen many factories doing the same thing on the boards.
Yes.
If you go to the shop floor, you will find the log sheets, you will find the checklist. Uh, Even if you have the ERP, you will download the Excel file, you will do every work in the Excel, then you re-upload in the ERP system. What you're
Yes.
doing is that you are not using the ERP. Why? Because it's complex, right? ERPs are very complex. It's not user friendly. You download the Excel file, you do the work, and then you re-upload in the ERP system. So what's the use of digital systems, right? So what I believe is that manufacturing is stuck behind. It's very behind in terms of B2C. Why? I think it's because there is a fear of losing control, fear of losing jobs. And I think that's a fear we have to kill that. Yeah. Because if you are not adapting, someone will obviously take your job in the future. Yeah. And you are not adapting. You are still using the legacy systems of 90s. We are still using the 80s system, 80s and 90s systems in the manufacturing, right? Yeah. So what do you think about that? Why we are not evolving? I think you mentioned the first reason is this fear, because being in a comfort zone is not easy really to come out from it. I'll give you an example. Some businesses, you ask him to do a transformation, he will tell you why. I'm making profit with these spreadsheets, with capturing data manually, with this much people. I'm making profit anyways. So why should I do well, this digital transformation? However, money, right? Exactly. However, uh, we need we need to take it from different perspective. And I think we should learn from what happened during COVID time. The COVID caused a serious crisis in supply chain. Many companies closed. Why? Because they were not agile. They were not flexible. They could not really cope with the situations. Uh, this is why. It is not only for now, it is also for the business continuity. You should see the future and you should adapt to the future. So, okay, today you are making profit. What about tomorrow? Tomorrow, I'm talking about the next 5 years. So, if you see any these are this is what makes difference between visionary people and other people, similar people who are just looking for what is happening right now. So if you see a problem that will happen in 5 years or in 10 years, the transformation should start from now. This is why it is really important to join the industry 4.0 and 5.0 already started. So these organizations will be late. This is why everybody should do this transformation for business continuity, for being agile, being flexible, cope with any situation, flexible versus the demand, because demand is fluctuating with all what is happening now in the world. New taxes are coming. Yeah. The market is disturbed with new political decisions, with wars. So many things are happening. You need to be agile and flexible. You need to be ready to cope with new situations that are happening in the market. Demand, the sudden demand can immediately come up. Look, this is a perfect example. When a demand is rising, the easy things for companies who are having cash is just to invest on new lines, new machines. While they have a big opportunity trapped in their operations. So the only way to unlock this opportunity trapped in the shop floor is to do this transformation to be digital, because uh, the digital transformation, the aim is to have insights. And this insight today, the industry 5.0 is taking the optimization part. However, if you don't have insights already, your decision making will remain very subjective and very weak. So it is extremely important to have insights. It is extremely important to measure all the opportunities, all the losses that are happening in your organization. Today, if you are making a profit of 15%, maybe you can make 30%. It's just why you don't make 30%, and you are happy with 15%. So the only way is to have this transformation, to join the industry 4.0, 5.0 for getting the insights, measuring the losses, eliminating the losses, doing optimizations, and creating new business models. New business models means a new way of running your business. And this is how you can be agile and flexible. And this is how you can cope with any
situation and any change happening in the market.
Yeah, I think it's a very good example when you talk about agility, you talk about COVID and all that, right? I think it's very important to understand because when we talk about to industries, they always focus on having a new line.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about the softwares and platforms and connectivity, they say that okay, this is okay for us. Might be after 3 years or 4 years, it will give a result. Might be it give a result, might be it doesn't give a result, right? And I think that's where the things makes doesn't sense to them,
Yeah.
and that's why they don't adapt to that. I think it's very right from their perspective as well because they have to earn money, they have to earn the profits because that's where they comes from. It's their business. But to make them understand, what are the things you think they need to understand?
Mm.
Because when it comes to softwares, it comes to the solutions, they think that okay, I will implement a solution
And
and I will
Industry
have
4.0.
industry 4.0 and I will get the 30% improvement in my OE. It doesn't make sense because when you have a solution or a platform, it will give you insights, but someone has to work on those insights, right?
Yeah.
It won't be like that you just go there and you will start making a improvement just by putting a software or solution, right? So that's why I think many companies have put the solutions. If you go to some companies, you will see ERP systems, but they are not using that.
Yes.
That's what I gave you the
Fully.
example before as well. They do the Excel work, and then just at the end of the one month, I used to remember that when I used to work in manufacturing, what usually happened is that at the end of the month, there used to be a closing, right? You have to do the technically close echo.
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation. We used to do in Excel. Everything went done. Then we do the everything in the ERP system, and we just upload those things one by one.
Yeah.
A natural process I've seen in many factories, right? It's not just about where I was working, but I have seen in other companies as well. They have the same issue. Reconciliation is a major issue in many factories, right? So what do you think about that?
Look, one mistake that I always see in when we talk about digital transformation is the fact that uh, organizations they think that a digital transformation is just bring in a software and plug it and enforce it to people to use it, and I am now joining the industry 4.0. However, everything that you should do, and this is again from the lean philosophy, you should have an objective and you should eliminate a waste. So I go back again to the lean. This is my DNA. Uh, when you want to digitalize your operations or your processes, the first thing that you need to do, you need to have a vision, you need to have objectives behind that, and you need to know your requirement. What do you want really to solve? What problem you want to solve by doing this? And by defining your problem, you define your requirements, you should bring a software that is tailored to really satisfy your requirements. This is the only way to achieve the purpose of digital transformation. But what we do usually, we just bring a software and we put it in place, and then we try really to enforce it to people, and then you have a very low adoption in the shop floor, and you are suffering from that. So the mistake here, just to go back to your point, is doing it as a push, not a pull. It should be a pull. So the best way is to have a vision, to have a leader for this transformation, to manage the change within the organization. So prepare the organization for it, have the objectives well defined, the challenges, the requirements, and then you design your solution. Then you go to the technology and you find what is suitable to you, and you can after, because now you define what you want to achieve. You can now talk about the ROI. You can talk about what software can do for you. And then the next step, of course, you need human to for the actions, because the software, what the software will do is just giving you a visibility through insights. The software will unlock the trapped value in your shop floor. So you will start seeing the opportunities, the losses that you can eliminate. However, the actionability, you need human for the actionability, unless you are closing the loop with the AI, with the agentic AI. So you are writing back to the machine and adjusting when there is a failure, there is an adjustment, not to adjustment. In this case, you are achieving the what we call a dark factory where you don't need people. You are not eliminating the human factor, but instead of having a traditional operator, you will have a data scientist behind all these insights, analyzing along with the system, and then keep feeding the system with the right input, keep adapting the system, because it's machine learning at the end. So through experience, the system will give more outcome and better actionability. And in this case, you are closing the loop. But before achieving this, there is a step before that. So your software will unlock the trapped value and give you insights. Then you need to take actions. You need to have certain methodologies for loss elimination, and go back again to lean. This is what lean is giving you, is this philosophy that you have a loss, you measure it, and then you have methodology how to eliminate it. You adapt this methodology. Now, what digital transformation will do versus the traditional way of implementing lean or operational excellence is that it is reducing the part of collecting data, measuring the challenge, understanding the problem. So you are eliminating all this effort. What you will do, you will start with the actions, and then you can see the improvements immediately.
Yeah, I think you point that human will always be required, right? And human brain will always be required. And I think it makes sense because if we go back into the history, if we take the industrial revolution, right? If we see that when a steam engine was coming, at that time people were thinking that it will take over the jobs. The machines will take over the jobs. What actually happened is that the blacksmith became the machinist. The hand weaver became the textile engineer, and same with the computer, that when computer was coming, people were thinking that it will take over the jobs. But what happened? It created more jobs, right?
Jobs.
And I think it's the same with the AI. And we are being served with the idea that AI will take over the jobs. AI is an evil. And if you see the movies right now, it's in the same perspective, right? I recently saw the last series of Mission Impossible, and it was talking about the same, that there is an evil entity, it's an evil with the name entity, which is an AI program which will take over the world. It is outthinking the government, right? Uh, I think it's about good or bad. It's something which we have to talk about. So, what do you think in the manufacturing, that it will be a good thing, or it will be an evil, or it will be a bad thing? What do you think about the AI in manufacturing? It will take over the jobs. It will create more jobs. What do you think about it?
Uh, in life, nothing is fully black and nothing is
Yeah.
fully white. You always have a good part, a bad part, and if we look at the good part always, and I think that it is the biggest part, the good part. Why? You just mentioned some examples and what happened with the industrial revolution. It's just a new way of life. Now we have something new coming in. I do believe that in everything in our lives, we need always to disrupt and move to the next step. We need always to evolve.
Yeah.
I believe in that, in this concept. By the way, we are here to evolve. Our mission on this earth is really to accelerate this evolution and stretch the brain's limits. So which is the opposite of a constance. So constance is a singularity in the universe, and
And
it
there's
is
only one
always
thing.
destroyed.
And there's only one thing which is positive in
Yeah,
the world. It's
exactly,
God.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's the only entity which is constant. So the nature itself is always destroying any constants. This is why we need always to disrupt and move to a new way of handling things. When we talk about manufacturing, this is today, there is a business model that everybody is used to. And again, we are in a comfort zone. So the EI, what EI will do in my point of view is we will just move to a new business model, a new way of handling manufacturing, not different from the current way. This is why there is a fear. This is why everybody thinks that jobs will be lost and AI will take over everything. But you just said it. It's a new business model where things will happen differently. However, the people who will be part of that new business model are people who are still activating their brain, who are still innovating, who are still having ideas. So today is the era of ideas. I give you an example. Before, just to create a startup or small enterprise, you need a minimum $1 million to do that.
Yeah.
And today, nothing, nothing. $1,000. You go to use all these engines, AI engines, generative AI engines. It will give you the business plan. It will build it for you. You can build your platform, your MVP. You can start immediately, and many very young people are doing that. And we used to see only people with certain experience having really a strong funding behind, who can really launch his own business. Today is completely different. Young people and students are launching their own startups today. It's a new way of doing things. And this is the innovation that we need. So the people who will be part of this new transformation are people who are innovating, we are at the era of ideas, of innovation. So the AI will be a tool, the AI will be a commodity in order to accelerate things and to handle this transformation. The people who don't want really to evolve, and they are in a comfort zone and they want to stay with the current business model, of course nature will not accept this.
Good and evil is about a perspective. It could be an individual perspective, it could be a collective perspective, right? And if you go back into the time and when we see the World War One and Two, we know there was a lot of killing, everything happened during those times. It's not a good thing and it's evil, right? But if you see the consequences that is in the technological transformation, it actually evolved a lot. For example, if I talk about radar, if I talk about jet engines, if I talk about uh, penicillin, if I talk about nuclear energy, early space mission as well. And I think I'm not judging or I'm not justifying the wars. What I'm trying to say is that there was a consequences which actually improved the things, right? And people argue that it could eventually be happening, right? Yes, it would have happened, but the pace wouldn't be the same as it happened during those times because everything accelerated because of that. So might be we would have been having this after 10 years or 20 years. So might be we were right now would be behind 20 years if those wars wouldn't have happened, right? So my perspective is that good and evil is just individual perspective. And if we talk about the AI, it could be a good, it could be an evil, but it is a perspective. And what do you think about this perspective that how AI could be an evil in the future. It could be like an something which will take over the world and it will destroy everything. What do you think about that?
What you just said, it has a relation with the example that we use usually in management to explain things. Uh, we have a cup half empty, half full. So which part do you choose? It depends on your mind. If you think negatively, you will see the empty part, or if you think positively, you will see the other half. And if you are too positive and you think positively and you try to create positivity, even when you see the empty part, you will say, "Oh wow, I have a space to fill up." It's an opportunity. It becomes an opportunity. It's not anymore a problem. And this is how true leaders should see things, by the way. And again, I'll take you back to one concept that I mentioned, which is the adaptability. In human nature, the if the human is following his instinct, he will uh, just get back to his normal path, which is adapting to the situations. While looking back to the and reading history during wars, we all think that life has stopped, but actually no. People adapted themselves to live with the situation. They just cope with the situations and before going to the consequences after war. So this is the adaptability that we always need, and the human is doing this every time. So adapting to the situations, and then you have consequences. Of course, a bad situation. After a bad situation, you cannot have worse than war. So it will be a better situation. So in the better situation, you have consequences. Now we come out from a situation with a lot of learning, and this learning is a trigger for new things. And as I said, now it's a new situation. It's a disruption of the previous state, and now I need to start something new, and I should do it differently because I want to achieve a different result. And this is what Einstein is always saying. The same experience will lead to the same result. So change the experience to achieve different results. So this is how things are happening now. The AI, as I said, it will disrupt certain things. So it will take us to completely a new way of handling things. If we talk about manufacturing, it's a new way of handling manufacturing. By the way, it will not limit only to the manufacturing, and the whole supply chain will be transformed. It's completely a new way. So uh, the human being should now activate again their instinct and get to the right path in terms of adaptability. So we need to adapt to the new world and the new concepts today, and and use this AI as a commodity to do things in a better way and achieve better results.
Yeah, I think what I have understood is that you can be positive,
Yeah.
or you can be negative, but you cannot predict
Mm.
what will happen in the future.
Yes.
Because if you go back in the time when Wright brothers actually made the plane,
Mm.
uh, they just predicted that it will be used for military.
Mm.
The military will use the plane, and that's the only thing they will do. But they never actually predicted that these planes will be used for passengers
Yes.
in the future, right?
Yeah.
They never predicted that.
Yes.
They only think that this will be done by military, and military force will do that. So you cannot
The
predict anything.
needs, the
need, the
requirements.
requirements. You cannot predict anything what will happen in the future.
Yeah.
You can be positive, but might be it will be more positive
Yeah.
in the future.
Yes.
You can be negative, might be it will be more negative in the future.
Yes.
But you cannot predict anything. But what you can do is that you can adapt and improve yourself
And get ready.
and get ready.
Get ready. Yeah.
Because it will eventually happen.
Yes.
And it is happening, and it will eventually happen.
Yes.
You cannot stop that. You can make the regulations, you can do everything, but you cannot stop that. That's the major part, right? And there is a concept of dark factories, and I'm very excited to see that in the future, that there is no light, there is no human, and everything is being produced, and after that it is being dispatched to the consumer. everything is done without any human. Uh, what is that dark factory and how to achieve that? What do you think? How we will be achieving that in the future? No human, nothing, and everything is being produced without anyone.
Yeah.
How's it happening?
Look, when you have the foundation in any shop floor, and the foundation, as I mentioned in the beginning, you build your digitalization or digital transformation on top of needs, on top of requirements. So in a pull mode, so you have requirements and you pull the right technology to satisfy your requirements to achieve the value that you are aiming for. When you do that, you reach a point where you digitalized everything, and you need to consider the concept of PDCA, for example, plan, do, check, and the act. The act now, the human is doing the act. I will give you an example. Today is possible to write back to machines through PLCs. However, the OEMs, the machine manufacturers, they don't allow that. They always claim that you can corrupt the program, the PLC program, and you will lose your warranty, and so there is a fear, and it is not really recommended. But what is happening is that an operator, when he's monitoring his machines, his parameters, all the parameters, he is adjusting on the HMI with the concept of agentic AI, and I would explain a little bit about agentic AI. An AI agent can do what the operator is doing on the HMI. So without touching the program in the PLC, you will just automate in a smart way the job of an operator who is adjusting the parameters. So the parameters will be adjusted through an HMI, and then you are measuring, you're capturing the parameter, you have the threshold, and any deviation, you need to bring it back to the target value. So what to do is to adjust from the HMI. So an agent is doing all this, and this is how you're closing the loop. So if you do this for any process, you are just automating everything, and you will not need the traditional human. So today the robots can automate processes as well. So you can command an AI agent can command a robot. So you will have the dark factory. So dark factory is just you're using this technology, you're using the advanced AI, the Gen AI and the agentic AI in order to uh, automate smartly the processes and the tasks, and then you can achieve this concept of dark factory. In the other hand, instead of having traditional operators, you need data scientists looking at this data, keeping the machine learning in the right way, solving all the other hallucinations that are happening in the system, making sure that the system is functioning, develop more, put data apps on top of that. So this is what the data scientists will do.
I think that's a important concept, and agentic AI and all that, which will obviously important as well. But what's your opinion when we talk about digital transformation? What are the things the companies has to do, and what are the things companies don't have to do for digital transformation? Because AI is obviously there in the future, but right now the companies are at industry 2.5. If they have to go to industry 4.0 first, what are the things they have to do, and what are the things they don't have to do? Because we can talk about AI a lot, right? But I think we are at not at the base level right now. Once we are at the base level, obviously then only we can move to the upper level, right?
Yes.
AI level.
Yeah.
To be on the base level, what are the things they have to do and what are the things they don't have to do?
A very interesting question because it summarizes all the discussion. And I mentioned this also in the beginning that Many mistakes are being made by organizations such as pushing instead of pulling. So I will start with things that any organization should not do when it comes to digital transformation is to understand uh, the industry 4.0 by just having software and connecting machines, and then because many people are looking for suppliers or system integrators to connect machines and then put AI. So this is the wrong thing to do.
Of course, because I have seen some factories where there is an MES system and there is a ERP system. Still, what they are doing is that they are using the Excel files with the name Ahmed's Excel, right?
Yes.
There is a name of that, and they are still not using MES
Yes.
because there will be some person over there always who will use the Excel.
Yeah.
So I think there is a still gap.
Yes.
If you have MES, you are
Yes.
working on technology.
This is the
But
push.
yeah, but you are not actually improving the processes. You're just pushing the technology. And
Exactly.
that's, I think
That's the first mistake.
yeah.
Pushing the technology, not starting from requirements. This is one common mistake. Another mistake is to start a transformation without getting ready the organization. Getting ready the organization, which means intensive training, the change management, getting people involved. So if you put it just as a top down, it will fail. It should be top down, bottom up. You need to listen to the chef floor and let them lead this transformation. This is very important. And another thing is you need to know your needs. So there is a preparation, and you need to get your processes defined. So you need to know what you want to achieve through this digital transformation, which means that if you just start and plug connect machines, and then you are trying to put AI, and in the middle you are not having even the culture of measuring the machine performance through OEE, for example, or capturing certain KPIs. This is again wrong thing to do. So do not go to look for softwares before really organizing things and understanding the need internally. That's what you should not do. Now, what you should do is, first of all, start with a vision, what objectives, what you want really to achieve, and then cascade down to the organization. Put a strong plan of for the transformation. Transformation is not only, this is why we call it a digital transformation, is not a digitization. A digital transformation is about it's an end-to-end thing. It includes the organization. If you don't transform your organization, if you don't target productivity, if you don't target employee engagement, if you don't target customer satisfaction, you will not really achieve the purpose. And you need to understand that you will create a new business model, a new way of handling your business. So by cascading down to the shop floor and preparing the organization, everyone will now they understand what needs to be achieved, and everyone will participate in raising the needs and the requirements. So you will really tailor, you will now work on a solution rather than just a software. It's completely different. So you're looking for a digital solution, and then you go to the market, you look for a software and take it step by step. So do not jump into EI immediately. EI is for optimization. Start first by getting insights, and this will again uh, enhance the cultural maturity of the organization. So when you start seeing insights, when you start having visibility within your shop floor, so you are creating, you are is part of the change management, by the way, creating a visual management. in the shop floor. So this will bring your organization up to the speed, and then you can apply AI for optimization. You can take it, your organization is ready to fly after that. So I guess from my experience, these are the things that you should do, and things you should
I
avoid.
think that's a very good discussion and very good points you made right now. And I think what I have understood from your discussion is that you are putting everything as it is being in the lean philosophy, right? Whether you do digital transformation, whether you do AI transformation, whether you do process transformation, anything you do, you have to do as a lean methodology,
Exactly.
lean philosophy.
Philosophy.
And that's what I have understood from your discussion. I think it's a very good discussion we had today. Due to limitation of time, I think we have to close this one, but I think we can have another session with another discussion in the near future. And obviously, I will have several guests coming in the next episodes, and I will try to have you in the next in some of the episodes in the future.
It will be
And
my pleasure.
yeah, thank you so much for coming here. And I think we for the audience, we will be having more episodes coming. More topics will be covered for the manufacturing because I want to cover the manufacturing part. I want people to understand about the manufacturing transformation, how it is going, what is agentic AI, because you talked about agentic AI. But at the core level, at
Yeah.
the technology level,
Yes.
what are the functions of that?
Yes.
At the technology level, what are the AI? What are the graphical neural networks? What are the graphs and all that, right? So obviously we will talk about in details about different topics, different industries and all that.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming here. And I
Welcome.
think it was a very good discussion with you. Thank you so much.
Welcome. It was really a pleasure to participate in the first episode, and it's really I'm very excited, really to also to receive any question. If you have question from your audience,
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
ready to answer, and I will be happy also to participate in next episodes.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
having me.
this
Thank you so much
opportunity.
and have a great
Thank
day.
you. You
Bye.
too. Thank you. Thank you.